Hello guys, welcome to this new tutorial. Today we're gonna see how to make the alignment style. Let's first see the different key elements. So let's first dive in the kick. So we have different layers as usual. We have a kick layer, we have a mid kick and a few top kick, and we have a bass layer. So let's first start with the kick layer. So this is the main kick. So we have a classic clubby sample from Vengeance. So this is a really simple kick. So the important thing here, as usual, is to have a clean sub. So it's a clean 909. I just EQ a bit. So you see I withdraw the different resonances. I just want something very clean. So I withdraw a bit of the harsh high end, and I will add anyway my top kick, so I can just skip this low and mid part. But here already I add a bit of saturation to polish a bit the kick. So it's a kind of multi-band distortion. I have the dry signal, I have a bit in the high here and a bit in the lows here, but I didn't use it actually. So it's just the main kick, and I just add a bit of highs that maybe I have withdrawn with this EQ. So first layer is just something very clean. Second layer is the same sample. I just put it in the 16th mode, and I just EQ to keep only the lows, and also sidechain, of course. So it's just this little rolling pattern. This is the main thing. So it's pretty clean for now. Then I just wanted a bit more lows, so I think I added a bit of side bass, just to add a bit of texture and something different from this rolling pattern, and also a bit of harmonics. So I took here a sample, but I explained in another video how to do this kind of side bass. And here, same thing, is just pretty clean. It's just only an EQ to keep the lows and a sidechain. Of course, one thing you have to take care when doing this is first you identify the note of your kick. So here it's B, and here I have my sample, and I have to pitch it down because it was C sharp, and to put it in B. And I can check here where the resonance is to identify the note from this bass. So you take your spectrum and you look at the fundamental, and you can see here the note. And so I have also my scale. Now I'm in B scale, and you will see that I use B Phrygian for my track. So after I have my mid kick layer. So here it's just a 9 and 9, and I took something that has a bit of mid that I liked. I just wanted to add a bit more transient in the mids with my kick. So you see, for now it's pretty clean. There's no processing. It's just sizzling the kick and having something clean. Then I have a top kick. So here's it's really characteristic of alignment. You have this kind of these clubby samples. So it's a kick with a bit of a gate after, and a very pronounced transient. So here I withdraw the lows again, not to clash with the sub here, and I add again a bit of saturation. So it's the same thing, it's just one dry signal and just an overdrive to spice up a bit the sample. And I have another top kick. So I have different layers. It's not necessary, but it's just the way I worked to get this kick. So sometimes, you know, you try some things, you keep some samples and some channels. So here just have another sample, but basically it's just the transient, exactly the same processing, and I only keep the transient. Same thing for here, but here I think it's a snare. Yeah, it's a perc. So here I just want a transient. So I take care of this transient, and I can play with the volume to get the kind of sound that I want. If I want something more clicky, I can add a bit more the perc and so on. And I added also an impact to have a bit more noise. So you see here. Just an impact, and it gets noisy with this overdrive. So you see with all these layers, I have this really characteristic sound, and my kick. So you see, for now, lots of layers, nothing is glued together. So that's why my first thing is to compress and saturate. So I will just withdraw it. So you see it's really subtle because I only have 13% on my drum bass. So just to glue a bit. Here I just put in mono to make sure that my bass is in mono for the speakers. And then I have my rack. This is my usual rack that I use for my kicks. So I have my dry signal, the kick layer. I have a reverb signal. So same thing as usual. I just have some sidechain, big reverb, 100%. Size very low. Decay pretty long. And then I compress and saturate the whole thing. So you see. This is my reverb. Saturation, compression. I only keep the lows. I saturate again and again. So I have something like this, quite industrial, but pretty clean because I cut it around 100 Hz. And then I have delays. I have two delays because you can get different patterns and sounds. And so it's the same thing, but instead of the reverb here, I have a delay 100%, 50% feedback. You can play here with the different modes. Also a bit of reverb to get a room, and then it's saturation again. And you can play with the resonances you want to keep, and also here for the volume, keep it pretty low, and I try to listen and see what happens. And I have the same delay here, it's just a different one. It's the same effect, but here I didn't keep the resonancy, and so it's a different sound. Also my delay is higher here, or here it's more in the sub, in the bass, and so this gives me this kind of kick. So I really get the drive from the reverb and also some bit of groove with the delay. But you see this kick is pretty clean. I just added a bit more saturation in the lows and then EQ. So to boost the punch, withdraw some resonances. Actually it's a bit too much cut. So you see here I have lots of EQs, but it's really a matter at the end of really hearing the sound. So you see here I have resonancy. I lose a bit of airiness, but it's more clean, so it's a choice. So I withdraw these resonances, and that's why I have to put back some highs to get a more balanced kick. But you see here for this style, it's pretty simple kick, like there's not much processing, not too much distortion, it's just a rumble, a very punchy kick. And that's it. So then I have the reverse bass. This first part with the filter, and then I have the second part. So you can either use a sample, either you can create it. So I will show you how I did this. So I made it myself. So you see, it's just a note. Actually, I use in Serum this LFO that is linked to the volume of the synths to make the sidechain. And you see it's a basic sine wave. You can use different kind of waves. It's just here I use the sine wave and then I distort. And when you distort, you get the harmonics. So I think it's just an init patch. I have a bit of FM synthesis. So here you choose FM from B. So it's just two sine waves. One is 2 octaves above. So I have lots of drive in the filter, so it's already distorted, and a bit of resonancy here. So you can play with the cutoff to get sound you like, also with the resonancy here. I think that's it, and I just have a bit of distortion, but it's really mild. So here just basically a sine wave that's played, and what makes the sound is the distortion that you will apply, and really you can play with different kind of distortion to get different sounds. So here I have some distortion, so already it's more interesting. So I don't want the lows here because I already have the rumble and also a bit of the rolling pattern, so it will clash if I keep the lows. So here it's to clean up the sound, and then here it's a bit of EQ, it's to try to have a better cut through sound in these frequencies, but you can try and listen. Then it's more distortion, a bit of space. And here the sidechain. So you want something really sharp for this style. It's the Rave reverse bass. And I just add a bit of noise just to get more grit, and then it's the filter. So next we have a bit of noise ambience. So I took a texture, it's just a noise sample. I only keep the mid, and I just play with the pitch of this grain delay to get a different texture, and I make it move. I took this little LFO. This is a tool from. I took this little LFO, and you can move the pitch and then sidechain. Same sidechain as the reverse bass. So you see it gives a bit more room, ambience. It's a bit more moving. Then I have this sweep. I use my usual technique. So I already show it in previous video. You take a small part from this sample, you add a reverb, like 6 seconds or 10 seconds. You freeze and replace, and you get this clip. And then you just have to reverse it, and you get your sweep. And then it's a sweep that is really coherent with your track. I have this other noise ambience. Same technique, exactly the same processing, just not the same sound source. Yeah, I think it's exactly the same. It's just this time I took only this part, I duplicate it, and you can even play with the pitch, and you get different noise. We see something moving. So I see alignment does the same to get more ambience in the track. So then I have my Perc. So I have a shaker, and I have a little loop. So for my shaker, just took a shaker sample. You can try and use the different moments of the sample to find what fits best the track in terms of groove. And actually, I think I used the groove pool. So here it's the usual 16th pattern, but to make it more moving and a groove, you can go in Ableton grooves, and you can find all the different 16 patterns. You can find one you like, you drag and drop, and then you can play with the grooves. And here just a bit of saturation to get more noise and sound. And then I have this little top loop. So I think it was a bigger sample. Like, this has nothing to do with this kind of style, but I only took a small part here. You can also play with the pitch, the transient. You duplicate and you get something that's fast and that already have some groove, some different velocities. And that's it. I think it was already pretty clean. And here I use the grain delay again to get a sound that was more matching the... Yeah, it was a bit dissonant, so I can shift a bit the pitch and it was better. And I use the auto pan to make it move in the space. It goes left and right pretty quickly, and the sidechain. So this is the bass layer with the a kick with a bit of drive, a few ambience noise to get the room, and a quick patterns to make the thing go quick. Then I have my drums. So for alignment, this is 909 or 808 drum machines hats. So you see I use a basic sample, almost no processing, just a bit of room. Same thing with the open hat. Just a pattern. So almost the hi-hats pattern, 16 patterns, and then just my open hat, but very low velocity. It's a bit more interesting than just the open hat, and it gets the groove. And then just the room. You see always using the same reverb to get the same room, to have more coherence. And then again, just a quick loop. So same thing as the Perc here. I just crop the loop. Could even use this one, you see. But here I wanted to enhance the open hat. And see, I already have something groovy. Just a bit of saturation, cut the lows and the sidechain. And here sidechain again, just to make sure. You see, it's simple but effective, and it matches the style. Then I have my snare. So same thing. It's really 909 snare, and I think I actually took the 909 snare and the 909 clap. So it's basic samples, and I have very little processing, slight saturation, exactly the same. Bit of compression, of course, here with the transient to get the thing more slappy, and a long reverb because it's characteristics of the style. Usually alignment has these long snares, a long reverb. So you see I have the noise from the snare and the mid from the clap. So yeah, layering is a very good tool. You can use it with your kicks, of course, but also for your drums. It really adds up. It's like a parallel compression, and it really fills up the frequency spectrum. And here I have another compression and a saturation just to glue the thing together, and just EQing. Make sure there's no lows, because as you see, when I put the compression or saturation, you get back the lows. So you have to make sure here it's okay not to clash. Also, you see when I put this low cut, I don't use it with the basic parameter, because in AQ8, the Ableton AQ8, there's a little resonancy when you put the biggest low cut. So you have to make sure it's a bit lower, so that it's not giving a resonancy. So this is my main pattern. So now we dive into the harmonics. So basically the trance lead, the melody. So I have 3 layers: high notes, 1 octave above, and the lower notes. And I have 1 more synth to add another layer to fill up the frequency spectrum. So let's first see the first one. So I use Omnisphere. It's a really good synth, lots of presets, lots of different sounds. And of course I use the Dynamo Trance preset. So you see it's usually Juno synth, and here it's a saw square. With a bit of unison, of course, to get more space. And I play with the filter envelope along the track, so that's why you have this quick note. So you see here it's just the decay that's longer in the filter. Here with the cutoff, you can play with it. So it's a good way in the arrangement to make the sound move and to get B parts. So here it's the same pattern, just an octave below. So I'll explain how I did this kind of pattern. So the key to do this kind of melody is having, of course, some notes that are first quite close in the scale, of course. So here I choose the Phrygian scale. Usually it's a good scale to have melancholy, as same for the minor scale. So usually you can use the minor scale or the Phrygian scale. It's okay for techno. For melancholy, it's a good thing. And you take close notes. So you see I have the main, the B. I have the fifth, the third, and basically you stay in the scale and it's okay. I have also the sevenths, but an octave above. And so also the thing is to have a loop. So you see here the notes are the same. It's the same beginning. So you see I have B, 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 B. Here I have the same length, but it's a variation. So you start with this loop, you copy, and just add a variation. You see here, I started with A, and here it's a D. Then you copy again. You go back to the first pattern, and then you make another variation at on the last. And this is how I did this, but I did also other patterns, for instance. So you see it's the same process. You start with this, you copy, you make a slight variation, you copy, and so on. You can play with the lengths. So here it was quick notes, just a longer note here, but here it's completely another pattern. And so you can process like this. So we can try to have one melody. Sometimes it takes some time. It's not like magic. You can find different melodies and some will be better. So for instance, I usually start with the root note, so the B. I will start with a longer note this time. I can play this. Really, you can put randomly notes at first. It's just having... It's really listening. Also, yeah, one thing is here I use the arpeggiator. It's not working when it's these little 16 notes. But for longer notes it works, and you have the sevenths here. So you see I will copy paste this. So you see, you can try and create this kind of melodies. You do this thing and you just repeat. Sometimes you can go and play with also octave above. So you see, it works. So just, if you don't know anything about music theory, which is the case for me, you just use the scale. I try and I use my ears and I try to listen to what my brains tell me in terms of emotion. And then it's just about practicing. And here, so you see it's the same preset, same synths, and I just add a layer underneath. Use different synths, different layer. It's the upper octave, the octave in the middle, and an octave below. So I have more frequencies, and it's a more rich sound. And I play with the decay along the track. I start with smaller notes, so with the filter envelope. I have also my auto filter to make the higher frequency comes after. And this is how it evolves around the track. Then just few elements, just a sharp vocal, so it's typical in its in his sounds. So any kind of words that spell, you use the amp just to boost the frequencies and beat the highs. I put it in a room, big room, lots of decay, lots of reverb, a bit of delay to make it moving, and some sidechain. I have my reverse. I did the same thing as the sweep, the noise sweep. So you can see my previous video to see how I do it. And then I have another sweep that I did with my stab, and I will show you the stab after. So you see, all my sweeps are homemade, and it's really coherent. It's the same sounds as my sound source. The synth ear, the vocal ear, and the sweep ear. And so finally I have my stab. So it's a kind of alarm. So of course what gives the stab feeling is, so you see, it's just init preset, I guess, yeah, with the unison to have more voice, and just a filter with the envelope. So here you link the envelope to the cutoff, and when it plays, it will get the higher frequencies and then go back to the lows. And what gives the vibe is saturation first, then really huge reverb, delay. I think it's the same as the vocal, and of course sidechain. And here it's the same, but I use the arpeggiator. So you see, same processing, same exact thing, just quicker. And I use the arpeggiator to get 3 notes, but basically I could have duplicate and do this. It's exactly the same. And so it's like a small pattern, short note, bigger note. It's like call and answer. And so I play the B, I play the root note. So that's why it's really coherent with the kick and the reverse bass. So you see, I added this sweep, and I think it gets better effects for the transition, but I could have also used my return channel, just put more reverb here so that it continues at the transition. And in terms of arrangement, nothing really original here, just a simple basic pattern. So I first start with my drums and my kick. I add a bit more drums, so I just anticipate and put the sweep. So to say, okay, there will be a transition, something is going to change. The brain's like this. I do the same here with the sweep, starting from the break. I use the filter here to start with only the lows and to make it grow. At first it's only small decay, but then I have at first I have only the highs, then I add another synth, so it's a bit stronger. It comes with the drums here, and then sweep, and then new variation, big reverse bass, percs that comes, and of course then I have a full decay on. So here. And big synths and higher decay, and then I put back my synths, my stab. So that's it for this little video. Thanks you so much for watching it. If you have some feedbacks, please let me know in the comments, and also tell me which kind of drawer or artist you would like me to do. And I see you in the next video. Bye.